Hello, Brits.
And we would rather that didn't happen. I think that was actually what Lucy Powell was driving at on Radio 4 on Friday night. And it came across in a way that she never, ever intended, and that's why she apologised.
This weekend, a political firestorm erupted, and it's got the entire country talking.
It does smack of some kind of political cover-up because they're worried that it could do some damage to Labour politicians and Labour councils.
Labour MP Lucy Powell has made disgraceful comments regarding grooming gang inquiries, referring to them as dog whistles.
Oh, we want to blow that little trumpet now, do we? Yeah, okay.
There was a real issue.
Let's get that dog whistle out, shall we?
Okay, Lucy. Yeah. The councils, there were so many people who were so afraid for good.
And rather than condemning her, Health Secretary Wes Streeting jumped in to defend her on national television.
Action speak louder than words. We're taking action. And we'll continue to do so. That's the most important thing.
This isn't just tone deaf, it's deeply offensive to the countless victims who were let down by the very authorities meant to protect them.
This seems to be a mistake that Labour keep making, the left keep making. You've actually personally been quite good at jabbing the left on this and have an authority on it. But there's been a tendency that's gone on for too long now to close all sorts of important debates down by throwing that racist charge at people.
Today, we break down exactly what was said, the backlash that followed, and why this has exposed a disturbing culture within the Labour Party.
Unfortunately, Wes Streeting and the Labour Party have underestimated how big an issue this is, how it resonates with the public, and how they are angry about what they perceive as this government's lack of action here. They made promises about having additional investigations and now have backtracked on it.
Make sure you like, share, and comment, because these are the stories they want buried. We know the Labour establishment doesn't want this information out, but that's exactly why it needs to be. Stay with us until the end. The final clips will leave you speechless.
I don't know whether you saw the documentary on Channel 4 about rape gangs over
Oh,
this.
we want to blow that little trumpet now, do we? Yeah, okay.
There was a real issue.
Let's get that dog whistle out, shall we?
The councils, there were so many people who were so afraid for good. Can I just finish the point, just for 1 minute?
Finish that point, Tim, and then I'll bring in Helen.
Look, there were so many people in local government, in the authorities, who, for good reasons, were worried about upsetting community tensions, that those girls went undefended. Now, there were good reasons, but no one has still been brought to justice for that. So you tell me, Lucy, that this isn't a culture in local government. It's just not true.
Helen Moore.
I don't really know. I feel exhausted this morning, Trevor. I think I've had about 10, 12 hours sleep over the last 3 nights. And perhaps what Wes Streeting just said is right. She made a mistake, perhaps. I'm very happy to concede that. But what I would say is this seems to be a mistake that Labour keep making, the left keep making. You've actually personally been quite good at jabbing the left on this and have an authority on it. But there's been a tendency that's gone on for too long now to close all sorts of important debates down by throwing that racist charge at people. And I think people have had enough of it. I think they feel that it is a stifling of debate. And in the context of grooming gangs, an issue of such consequence, I think it was clearly ill-judged by Lucy Powell. But I think she was keen to have a very strong go at reform, and I was the representative of reform that night. But unfortunately, the words she chose have wider resonance. And I think the only trouble if she really is to get in trouble, it would be if survivors come out in larger numbers and object to what she said.
Tom, Labour doesn't need this right now, does it?
No, I mean, look, I've known Lucy Powell a very long time, and I know that she's dealt with some of these cases in her constituency. It's horrendous, disgusting, shocking cases. And I don't think any politician should be dismissing those concerns as dog whistle. That's awful. I also do think that politicians should try not to politicise this, because this is about the victims. We don't want to see victims and these stories kicked around as political footballs. What we want to see is action. We want to see action to get them justice. We want to see action to stop this happening again. And turning it into a left versus right issue, I don't think it's always very helpful.
I think what is true, though, Tom, is that there are 50 towns where various forms of grooming took place. Labour said they would have local investigations. They haven't taken place. So I take your point about not politicising these issues. But the worst thing is if we don't address it at all.
It's true to say that we had 28 recommendations of the
But so you're about to do it again, aren't you?
But
you're about to say this is make this into a political thing.
No, actually, that's not. Actually, I'd prefer the opposite. I'd prefer that we could all move together on what is a serious issue and shouldn't be a party political knockabout. But inevitably, what we've seen since the general election is people who were in government only moments ago saying, you know, why aren't you doing this, that, and the other? Have a national inquiry. Now, if they felt so strongly about it, they had the opportunity to do it and didn't.
And
there's a string of recommendations which were not implemented. And the fundamental point, Trevor,
is your point
is we could have another. We could have
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. I do think there's been a degree of playing politics with it, and we would rather that didn't happen. I think that was actually what Lucy Powell was driving out on Radio 4 on Friday night. It came across in a way that she never ever intended, and that's why she apologised. But I think, look, stripping all of the politics away from it and all of the political noise, there were 28 recommendations that were made by the independent investigation into child sexual exploitation. We're getting on with it.
You've made that point. Your colleagues have made.
But the action is really important, Trevor. I think, and that's what I say this morning. Action speak louder than words. We're taking action. And we'll continue to do so. That's the most important thing.
Wes Streeting said, to be fair to him, he said she's apologised and so on, but he also accused your party of playing politics with the issue.
No, look, this is a major issue with swathes of the population. I think that shows that, unfortunately, Wes Streeting and the Labour Party have underestimated how big an issue this is, how it resonates with the public, and how they are angry about what they perceive as this government's lack of action here. They made promises about having additional investigations and now have backtracked on it. And they need to be held to account for that. That is not right. They are not doing the right thing. We do need a proper, full inquiry. The public demands that. And I just do not understand the reasons why Labour is so reluctant. It does, and this is why, I'm afraid, it does smack of some kind of political cover-up, because they're worried that it could do some damage to Labour politicians and Labour councils.
Why would it do damage to them?
Because there's accusations that the Labour councils and some of the Labour areas that were responsible for overseeing some of the activities around here did not take appropriate action. And I think they're embarrassed about that. They should be embarrassed about it.
To be fair, these are accusations, right?
They are accusations, but then you clear up the accusations by having a full inquiry. If they don't have anything to worry about, what's the problem with having a full inquiry?